So, NFL Championship weekend, the Ravens lose to the Chiefs, the Lions lose to the 49ers. Somehow, even though the Lions were expected to lose to the 49ers, that was the bigger story than the Ravens looking like complete total trash against the Chiefs. But hey, whatever. BJ has his priorities set, and I mean, not set properly, but that's okay. We still love him anyways. We give our takes as to what happened in those games, where teams can go from here, what options do they have, if any. And then we save our picks for the Super Bowl for next week because the NFL's taking a week off. They're playing flag football or something here in Orlando. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to like and subscribe to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you might find your podcast. Welcome to the number one sports podcast in Sanford, Florida. This is Sandlot Sports. I am Adam Capperson. I'm here with Dorian Cody.
What up, what up?
And VJ Thomas.
I am wearing all black today because today is a sad day. All three of our football teams are out of the playoffs, and the last one exited it in the worst way possible.
Yes, and we will get to that. But first, because I did BJ the favor of not going with the Cowboys first when they did last time, we'll go with Detroit last now. So we'll start with Baltimore.
Wait, you were setting me up for sympathy later?
It's a kinship thing.
So y'all get fisted on national TV, and we're going to talk about that later.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what they call a setup.
Yeah.
All
right.
So where do we begin? Penalties.
Ooh, wait a second.
Hold on.
You can try penalties, but how about we talk about the MVP looking supremely average?
Yeah. Kudos to coach, defensive coordinator,
Spagnuolo.
Spagnuolo. He was definitely prepared for Lamar. Lamar looked like he was a deer in headlights. The Chiefs did a solid job containing him. And then also too, I think the moment was just too big for everybody on Baltimore. They felt the pressure. You saw it.
Travis Kelce set the tempo by kicking those balls away and throwing that helmet out of the way. He's like, "Move your shit, bitch. Mahomes coming through."
It's like, have people not learned to not pick against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs?
Try to tell him. Like,
shit, he didn't pull off my prop bets.
But I think we're looking at like the new Tom Brady-esque at quarterback. You have to get through Mahomes if you want to. In order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. So
he's more dangerous to me because he can move.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, too, those. All right, that Zay Flowers play. When I looked at it, the ball was hit out of his hands. So that was a great defensive play
by the guy he just tried to stun on a couple plays before.
Yeah. Right. So they punched the ball out of his hand, which was like, that was a great fucking defensive play, man. I thought it was a fumble. Did he fumble the ball? No, he knocked it. It got knocked out of his hand.
We talked about this before. Adam and I got in a yelling match about, so if you need more motivation as a professional athlete, you're not doing your job. The fact of the matter is, do not piss people off that already played at championship level.
Yeah,
right.
No,
and that's what he did. That's like
tempt fate.
That's like Michael Jordan going 4 for 16 and be like, "Tough night, Mike." Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that because it will no longer be a tough night for him.
It'll be a tough night for you.
Yeah, and that's what happens. That's that motivation I'm talking about. You've frustrated or angered somebody to a point where they're going to play above where they were earlier, at least for a few plays.
Yeah.
In basketball, it can last up to 30 minutes.
Yeah. And that's a quarter.
Yeah. So that could hurt. They can steal your soul. But in football, usually you're going to get somebody motivated for a couple series.
Yeah.
And that guy punched the shit out of that ball at the perfect time.
And see, here's my question. I know it is the tendency to reach the ball out when you get close to the end zone because you want to score. Should players just stop doing that? Is the risk really worth it? Unless it's fourth down?
I don't know if I'm willing to coach that out of my ball carriers. It pays off more than it doesn't.
That's fair.
Right. But also too, knowing the moment, right? Because championship football teams, they know the moment. So Zay Flowers could have known, okay, I can go for the end zone. If I don't score, we still have a first down. We got 4 tries to get it in.
Right, but in high-level professional athletics, I am not telling my players to not do something that works 6 or 7 out of 10 times.
Right.
And-
no, understand. Right.
And that's the thing. You don't want your players to play scared. You want them
Yeah,
to play responsible, but not play scared.
I don't want them thinking in those situations. I want them reacting. Like CeeDee Lamb had a couple of those this year. Would I take him back? No, because he's had so many over his career. He's reached, stuck the ball in, got it across the goal line where it's like, that's part of his game. He's athletic. He's got good awareness. Just let it happen, man. Sometimes it's going to go bad. That's sports. It's sports.
So basically, it was just a fantastic play for the Chiefs defense.
In my opinion, yeah. I mean,
And sometimes the defense just wins.
And to be honest with you, those punches don't work as much as reaching across the goal line does.
Right.
The punches aren't. People get punched carrying the ball all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, it was a freaking drill. I forget what it's called, but they literally just slap at the ball the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys practice it. So I'm just speaking on the Cowboys because I watch the Cowboys, but the Cowboys practice it. They're punching at that ball constantly. They don't get 2-3 fumbles a game. You know what I mean? So I just I don't know. I would not take that out of my ball carrier's hands, especially when you're talking about guys that are game breakers. Right. Like Zay Flowers, if he continues on this path, geez, Lamar might have his first wide receiver.
Yeah. You know, and that first touchdown that Flowers caught, I mean, I said in the group chat, Lamar looked like Randall Cunningham.
Yeah.
Ducking out of people, running away from it, and just a dart.
And then the Chiefs were like, no more.
You are done.
Exactly. You were done. If you notice their rush, did you notice they didn't have that severe upfield rush? It was a controlled rush where they'd get by people and kind of hold their spot. It's like, where you going, son of a bitch? Because there were a couple times where he didn't do that Romo reverse roll. Like Romo would drop back and then he would roll back to his left. He would spin towards his right shoulder and go left. That was not available because those defensive ends were sitting there.
That's coaching on Spagnuolo's part of going, hey, this is what he's going to do. Don't let him do it. Get
coaching and
pressure.
Execution.
Yep.
Because it's real hard for a pit bull to see a steak and for them not to bite it.
Yep. And I noticed too what Spags did was he allowed, it was a contained rush, but he allowed his secondary to be the ones to do the rush because they were at least fast enough to where if they can go through and get Lamar to at least go to a side, at least there's a defensive end that'll be able to help out.
I was very impressed with the way the Chiefs stopped him from wreaking havoc with his legs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say that 13-yard catch by Lamar Jackson of his own pass was amazing. I thought for a split second, I was like, he's going to smoke these fools right at the middle of the field. I was like, that's the longest self pass I've seen caught.
I want to say Mariota's was like a 20-yarder.
I did not see that. I did
Okay.
not call Mariota's.
Because I know one of our listeners was talking about that. I'm like, I want to say Mariota did it back when he was in the Tennessee in the playoffs, and it was like 18, 20 yards.
I thought for a split second he was about to just hit the gas and be gone. And what was the deal with that one scramble he got free on? I thought he was going to bust, like just blow right by that defender, and it looked like he was kind of waiting to make a play on him. He didn't go full speed. It was kind of weird to see.
Yeah, I remember that play. At first, I was like, did Lamar pull a hamstring? He's trying to wait because usually he would have took it to the house.
I was wondering if he was injured, but I didn't want to put that out there because I don't know anything and I haven't heard anything. But I don't know if I were the Ravens if I would come out and mention an injury anyways at this point.
Right.
So I don't know, but it didn't look like I thought that run should look, is what I'm saying. I figured he would have been out of there because there's 15, 20% of the defensive backs in this league as fast as Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Maybe a little higher, maybe 30.
That's the thing. Once he gets loose, he's gone. And
Yeah,
I looked it up.
I thought it was over.
Yeah, you were right. Lamar's was longer. Mariota's was only 6. So you were right.
So
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, offensively, did the Ravens seem handicapped having Mark Andrews back?
No.
No, not in my opinion. What I agree with what Rex Ryan said. I don't quote too many other shows, but I like listening to Rex Ryan. He's actually entertaining and informative without being a moron like some of these other people on ESPN. Why did you drop back 82% of the time when you led the league in rushing attempts?
Yep.
What are we doing here, folks?
Thing about Philadelphia.
They were never down by enough to give up on the run game.
Right.
Never.
Right.
And if anything, with Lamar Jackson, I do not know why everything is not a read option.
No.
Everything. Just make that defense guess, move them left and right, create problems. The game plan baffled me.
Well,
I just wasn't sure what was going on.
So that was the first time they were down by 10 all year. And 10 points is really nothing in the NFL. It's obviously two scores, but you get one score, you're right back in it. And, they weren't down by 10 until the start of the second half. So
You have a lightning bolt at quarterback.
Yeah, there was zero reason to completely abandon the run, even before they were down by 10. That was a horrible offensive game plan.
Right.
And to continue my whining from earlier, they could have completed 2 more balls to Mark Andrews to help me complete a $600 prop bet, you sons of bitches.
So I'm looking at the box scores, so I won't give you guys the benefit of the doubt. Do you know how many rushes Lamar Jackson had in that game on Sunday?
3? Are you talking about planned runs or
just total rushes?
3 to 5.
That's about 8, 10.
8.
Yeah.
Your biggest offensive weapon, and he is deadly in the open field. 8 rushes. Average 6.8 yards a rush. 8 rushes.
And people are saying, well, they had 2 running backs injured. So what?
So
Gus Edwards.
What?
Gus Edwards and
Justice
Hill are serviceable running backs in the NFL.
Absolutely.
It's not like they had chumps back there or something.
Exactly.
Because they're missing J.K. Dobbins and the Mitchell cat, the rookie. I'm sorry, I don't know his first name.
Yeah. What it boils down to is that Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes have built fear in teams to where if we're ahead, you're going to have to pass to beat us. That's not true. But they've got to offensive coordinators' heads because everybody was like, why is Lamar passing? Run the ball. Running the ball got you to this point. Why are you going against what you're doing? But that's what they do.
They put that score now in them.
Yeah,
they put that score now in it. I better score now. Now. No, you have time. Play football. Right. Dan Campbell.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, sometimes having testicles you have to carry in a wheelbarrow is not an ideal situation.
Yeah, and let's just do it now. So, yeah, Dan Campbell has gambled all season. He's put trust in that offense all season. That's just what he does. And you want to say the analytics say do this and blah, 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 and machine learning, AI. No, you have to know the game. Now, yes, his kicker sucks over 40 yards. And he had better chances of completing the 4th down, instead of the field goals. That's fine. You don't have to kick a field goal. You can punt. You can play the field position game, especially when you're up 24-10. You don't have to be super aggressive.
Yeah, that catch by Brandon Ayuk just sparked. It just sparked the game. Because at first it looked like the Niners had no life, none, and then it just sparked like it was just spread like wildfire.
The play before that, when the Lions went for a 4th down to set them up in good field position.
Yeah.
If the Lions don't do that, if they punt when it was 4th and 3, I think, at the Niners 40-ish yard line, if they punt there, even if it goes out the back of the end zone, you start at the 20. If you do a good punt, they're starting inside the 10. And then that play, while it might spark, it doesn't hurt as bad because it doesn't set them up inside the 5.
Right.
You have to know time and plays and how the game is going. And you have to know, I cannot give these motherfuckers hope. I have to just keep pushing.
As we've learned over the course of this football team, the football season, the thing about gamblers is they think they get good at it.
Yes.
And you don't. You don't. It's like 3-point shooting in the NBA. That shit's all going to average out. You can hit 10. You can hit 10 of 10 in the first half. It will not continue to be like that.
No. J.R. Smith, I've seen him hit 4 or 5 in a row and come out of the game with a 25% 3-point shooting percentage.
Shooters go shoot. He must be from Leesburg.
So many people come to mind.
Oh, boy, I tell you. And then they look at you and be like, why are you shooting, bitch? Why are you shooting? We're all shooting now.
Drilling. Set a pick. Oh, no, motherfucker. You gotta shoot it. No.
You can pick your nose, bitch. Nothing out of me. Go rebound, bitch. Chase your own shot.
Yeah, I am not gonna lie. So I had promised my son weeks ago, hey, we'll go to the Magic game on this Sunday. Not thinking the Lions were gonna make the NFC Championship game on that same Sunday. So we're sitting there watching the game, following it in the stands, and they're up 24-7. The Magic game is over. I'm like, son, we gotta get to the car. I'm listening to this game in the car. Put it on. We get going down I-4, and when it's like, and all of a sudden it's now 24-10. The Lions have fumbled, and I'm like Jack from Lost. We gotta go back. I need my seat back.
I mean, I'm sitting here texting them prop bets and shit, and then I see pictures from the Magic game. I was like, oh, you fucked up. Mistake.
Okay, let me ask you this. Are you going to play in the weekend around the Lions making the NFC Championship game?
Well, I mean, you're cynical as fuck. So I probably would have. Like a month out. Yeah. Probably. I'd probably be like, yeah, the Cowboys got a shot. Troy Aikman didn't plan a vacation. Look what that got him. Poor Troy. He could have been in Cancun or anywhere, enjoying the sun. Some alcoholic beverages, but no, he had to sit here and watch the Cowboys watch the playoffs on the couch.
But don't worry, Jerry Jones said that they're going all in next season because apparently they weren't fully committed last season.
What is that like? At his age, that just means he's going to take all his medicine every day on time or something?
I don't know, but he said that today. I'm like, okay, that's great. What are you going to do?
Well, I'll tell you what, the only thing that they could change by going all in this offseason would be participating in the free agent market. So we will know something during free agency. The truth will come out in free agency. If he does not participate in the free agent market, he is absolutely full of shit. There are so many holes the Cowboys need. They're probably going to address the offensive line in the draft, which I'm fine with because they're good at it. That's just a fact of the matter. They need defensive line help. They need linebacking help. They need safety help and a second or third wide receiver. So there are several things that if they do not do, wow, I just thought of something. We switched gears and let you off the hook so easy. Hold on a second. Fuck the Cowboys. We don't need to talk about them. Y'all fucking blew like a Matt Ryan type situation. There's like a total of, I think the 49ers had 4 more points than the Patriots did at the point of the turnaround, and you guys had 1 less point than so the Falcons did at the turnaround. But it was a epic level fuck up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe I let you do that to me. We almost just shifted gears right out of there and continued with the podcast. No, focus. Use my ADHD against me. How dare you?
So in your guys' opinion, when the Niners started gaining momentum, where did the Cowboys go wrong? Like, I'm not Cowboys. I mean,
watch your mouth. They were bad. They were not that bad.
The Lions, yeah, the Lions. Like, where did they go wrong? Like, should they have just like try to slow the game down and run the ball more, or what?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. So the game changed in about 3 plays. Okay.
Dropped passes.
Yeah, that part of it. So on that 4th down, I want to say they were like, it was 4th and 3. I don't have it up right this second. 4th and 3 from inside the 49ers territory. Mm-hmm. Okay. One of 3 things could have happened. Either you go for it and the guy catches the ball, go for it, he drops the ball, or you punt it. And again, Dan Campbell's been gambling all season, so he went for it, had a pass to Josh Reynolds, who subsequently dropped it. So instead of doing that, punt it. At that point, like I said, you're elongating the game. You're playing the field position game. So when on the change of possession, that's when the Ayuk play happened, bounced off the guy's helmet, caught it, basically easy touchdown the next possession. So and then you said try to run the ball. Well, they did, and they fumbled it. So hang on to the damn ball.
That didn't work, but was it a 3rd and 8 drop by Reynolds?
Yeah.
That hurt.
He had a couple of drops.
That really, I know he's in my prop bet. Anyways, look, it boosted the odds up to like 2,500. But yeah, it was those drop passes, the gambling. It was tough to watch. I was really kind of hoping to see the Lions in there because it just would have been crazy to see the Lions in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And not be 80 years old and saw it first when I was a child.
So, but yeah, I mean that's what happened. Is you talked about how Baltimore let the moment get to him, Detroit let the moment get to him, and that is a part of Campbell. Now, I will admit, a couple of years ago when we started this podcast, I was completely out on Campbell because he has clock management issues, coaching issues that reared their ugly heads on Sunday. He's gotten that team to run through a wall for them, which is great, doing that rah-rah Cisco ball stuff. But sometimes you just need a coach that goes, guys, settle down. That's not his style, though. That's the problem.
2 things I noticed this weekend: the coverage of the game. I can't remember who was doing it. Was it Nance? No, it wasn't Nance and Eggman and Buck, right?
No, Eggman and Buck's ESPN. It was Nance and Romo.
Yeah, Nance and Romo.
Doing a Fox game?
No, that was Olsen and Buckhart.
Yeah, they said that the Lions all year, when they're facing 3rd or 4th and medium to long, they have been successful throwing it short of the line to gain and having the wide receivers go get it. I don't know if that works against the top 3.
That does not work. No.
Yeah.
You might get away with it a couple times throughout the game, but in clutch moments, you don't think those guys are 2 of the best linebackers in the game.
Yeah.
And a solid secondary behind them came flying up and made some big tackles to stop that from happening.
Your strategy should not be make sure they screw up.
Well, now we have to be fair. They have high quality after the catch wide receivers. James, that's the fact. Maybe the best in the league as far as Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams looked electric this weekend. I mean, him being on that team next year is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
This is his first full healthy year, wasn't it? Or did he come in late?
Well, he was suspended. He wasn't injured. He was suspended the first 6 games.
Well, yeah. This is his first season. Next year in this offense, who knows? That guy looked electric Sunday. So the Lions have a lot of things to look forward to. But Dan Campbell, what I'm worried about now is he going to start second guessing himself because of this nightmare? And that's something he can't do. I don't like what he did in the press conference also when he came out and said this could be our only shot. You don't say that shit to a group of young men. Keep your mouth shut. You can say that in your head. Right. You can be honest with yourself about that, but you don't put that in their head. You just got to get them to come back and work hard. You don't need to, don't say that.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, I hope he continues to gamble in the right situations. I hope he doesn't get an 18 in blackjack and go hit me. I hope he gambles appropriately. He learns from this and knows, okay, this is when I have this. This is when I should do this. Let's not forget this is his 3rd year as a head coach. He was an assistant head coach for a couple of years. He started learning on the job, and I even said that a couple of years ago that the time, like the mechanics of a game, he started learning. I don't like the fact that he's learning on the job with my team, but he's still learning the mechanics of when to do what. That's the hardest part of being a head coach.
I'd rather have him on my team than across the sidelines.
That is 100% true.
Because he is fearless. And when you can put that into the team, you see what happens. They've improved drastically in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, they were...
by the way, that started with a trade that everybody hated.
Not this guy.
So the one thing you were pro-Lions about that you get to... I'm not going to let you do that. You're not going to be so negative on the Lions and then be excited about the one thing you're pro-Lions about.
Well, you said everyone, so I just want to make sure that correction's out there.
Okay, but once we get over 80%, we're going with everyone.
Fair enough.
So everybody bashed that trade, thought it was terrible. Goff had not been playing well in LA. And it has worked wonders for the Lions. They've worked on the offensive line. They've gotten running backs behind him. They've given him wide receivers, and he has come out on top.
Yeah, and this is it's one of the rare traits where it worked out for both teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Rams would 100% do it again, and so would the Lions.
And by the way, those throws that were dropped were not bad throws.
No.
Were they perfect? No, but they were catchable. They were very
NFL
catchable.
wide receivers should be able to catch those passes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm absolutely happy with the way Goff played. He was impressive. But yeah, that letdown is just terrible.
Yeah, and here's what they need to do is take the first 3 rounds of the draft defensive line and linebacker help, and then plug your holes from there. They need a good quality second wide receiver, because Laporta and St. Brown are great, but obviously Laporta is a tight end. Jameson Williams is a speedster, but they need a good solid possession receiver, which they can get in later rounds, but they need to work on that defense. We said it all season that defense was going to be their Achilles heel. And again, going back to Campbell, going back to what Dorian was saying, when they were driving late, when they were down by the goal line, you have to have 4 passes into the end zone. You have to save your timeouts. You have to assume you're going to get some type of score, and you can get the ball back. You cannot run in that situation. That 3rd down run at the goal line when they were down by 10, the game was basically over when he was tackled.
I thought they would do something to where they would do like in basketball, or where like a lot of tight ends do, where they'll go in the end zone and kind of like do like a little curl post up, and they throw it low so at least they can get on their knees to kind of like catch the ball. Because plays like that, you're either going to get a pass interference, or you're going to have the chance to actually catch the ball because the quarterback can throw it to where it's low enough to where that tight end can get it. Because other than that, they didn't have an answer for Laporta at all.
Well, no one's had an answer for Laporta all season.
Right.
And, we've covered a lot of things as far as the Lions go, but the one thing we haven't said is that defense didn't do him any favors.
Yeah.
You got a nicked up Deebo Samuels. You got they did an all right job with McCaffrey for like 3 quarters. And then it was just like that's the end of that. Christian took over and made some big plays. But yeah, that defense, they should focus on that. That offense is definitely playoff or NFL or Super Bowl worthy.
Absolutely.
But they need to spend some money and some draft picks on that defense.
I say it in this screen, it comes out that screen. So, but yeah, that's.
You are so happy when you're right about something, you're going to choke on your own cock. How does your wife live with you?
Well,
I corrected. I already answered my own question. You don't do that around her because you're still in the house.
No, ever since Michigan started to beat Ohio State, she doesn't want to talk football to me at all.
I meant life in general. I'm sure this happens about many things.
Oh, well, I'm not the only one that does it in the relationship, so it's all good.
Oh, my God. Just both of you walking around connected to the genitalia and mouth.
Wait, hey, why do you think we have 4 kids?
Roll. Yeah, but I'm talking about yourselves. So you're just like a bunch of overcooked shrimp rolling around on the floor. Anyways, now that you're done choking on yourself, we can.
So, but what about the other side of the ball? I mean, San Francisco. I mean, they took advantage of the Lions' mistakes. So we will do our pick next week with the Super Bowl. But what do we think of San Francisco with their 2 playoff games, not looking as dominant as they have during the regular season?
Well, if they can contain Lamar, why can't they contain Christian?
Yeah.
And I just feel like if you contain Christian, it makes the rest of the offense have to work harder. And the fact that the Chiefs have transformed themselves into a bully football team all of a sudden, which has been fun to watch on offense, I think it makes for an interesting football game.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll break it down next week. But, I mean, I think it's funny how people are like, well, Brock Purdy's a system quarterback. Really?
Who isn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Who is
Who is
it?
it?
Yeah.
Name a great quarterback who is successful without a good coach.
There is none.
Oh, there's one. It's happened
What
before.
is one? Yeah.
There's
one.
happened, but it's happened before. We just have to
And
find
he's
it.
been phenomenal, right? He's like, yeah. Outside of him.
Yeah, outside of the one quarterback who won in spite of their coach.
Yeah, it's part of the coach.
Maybe
I
Peyton
have-
Manning when
yeah.
Jim Caldwell was on the sidelines. Maybe.
I don't know if Jim Caldwell's a bad coach though.
That's what I said. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Sometimes I felt like the Giants won in spite of Tom Coughlin
Yeah.
Sometimes I thought the Giants won in spite of Eli Manning.
because he had some archaic ideas.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate what Tom Coughlin's done for the game, and he was a tough opponent when he was with the Giants, but he got phased out pretty quick. The decline was swift.
Yeah, when he went to Jacksonville, and this is not completely a knock against Jacksonville, but when it to Jacksonville,
Draft a fullback.
and it was like draft a fullback. Do you have two tight ends? Do you have a fullback? And the meetings were still 5 minutes early, and guys were like, "Fuck this shit."
And I need two 400-pound defensive tackles. Everybody looked around and was like, shit. Grandpa shit in the bed.
That's exactly how I read it was. They were like, the fuck?
What the fuck? Christ. What you need is you need to get Ray Nitschke in here.
Yeah, I think it's funny. So like his coaching career started in Jacksonville with the shenanigans there. Went to New York, was okay for a few years, won a Super Bowl, fell off the map for a couple years, won another Super Bowl, and then never went back to the playoffs.
He had enough of it. He had his fill.
So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, to the point of you can't be a system quarterback because the coach has to coach to the quarterback, and it makes me wonder sometimes these quarterbacks that come out of college that are good in college that just flame out in the NFL. Were they frauds in college? Does the coach not know how to use them? Did they not transition well to the NFL? There's a lot to go into that.
Yeah.
I think it could be a combination of any of those things.
Right. But also, too, people forget that it's the fucking NFL. Like, you have, like, an all-pro, possible Hall of Fame player at any position, Well,
Well,
so
if you listen to any interview of any player that is comparing the difference between college and NFL, they say it's not necessarily the physicality of it. It's not necessarily it's not even necessarily like the timed speed. It's the speed at which the play happens.
right.
Like that's what everybody has to get used to, and I don't think some people adapt to that.
Right. Right. Like there was a stat that I saw, and they showed like how I think it was Tua. It was Tua and two of the quarterbacks to where they got the ball out of their hands in less
2.8 seconds or something
Yeah,
like that.
2.8 seconds, right. Do you know the speed? That means that you have to be able to have that ball out, and it has to be in the right place for a Tyreek Hill to be able to, get the ball. That's crazy.
He's made his decision before he stopped moving backwards.
Absolutely.
And that's the bigger problem, and that's why Tua has not progressed. Because yes, he has a quick release, gets the ball, snap it, go, but he's not progressing through his reads. He is essentially locked into one or two receivers on one side of the field, and it's going there. He's not progressing. He's not going, oh, that window's not open. I need to look over there, and then over there, and over there.
But is that Nick Saban's fault or his offensive coordinator at Alabama to
Yes.
prepare him for that?
Yes.
Reading a defense is one of the hardest things to do in professional sports.
And if you start the NFL without that ability, you're never going to get it.
Yeah,
Well, I wouldn't say never. But it's definitely going to make the road super difficult. And I feel like you're just playing catch up. like the first 3 or 4 years you're going to be playing catch up. And like for instance, Jordan Love had starts. He did not look well.
Right.
And he's figured something out.
Yeah.
He's improved greatly. Aikman was on really shitty teams.
Yeah, it's hard to compare like Aikman and Manning and those guys because their first year or two, the teams were terrible.
Teams. There's terrible teams.
And and it's like the Patrick Mahomes quote when he came out of the Texas Tech. They asked him, "Well, you threw a lot of interceptions." He's like, "Yeah, I had to take a risk. My team was down 50."
Yeah.
So where is that line? Now, obviously, Aikman and Manning they learned to progress. Jordan Love taking the route that I recommend to all quarterbacks take, or at least 50% or 80%. Going back to BJ's 80% is all. Sit for a year or two. Learn the offense. Learn your offensive coordinator. Again, assuming your offensive coordinator is stable. Learn their system. Get familiarized with how the game is played and then come in. Part of the problem is teams draft these quarterbacks. They don't know how to read defense properly. And they're playing catch up on top of the fact that they're starting week 1 of their rookie season.
Yeah.
They're not ready.
No, if anybody's affected by the speed of the game, it's the quarterback.
Yes.
Because those windows are smaller, the pass rush is faster. Like everything's just happening so much quicker. Your wide receivers are probably getting to their spots faster, whether it be through sheer speed or better route running. So like everything is just click, 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 click. Everything's up a notch. And the quarterback position's got to be difficult. Yes. I've heard the easiest is running back.
Find hole, go.
Well, kind of. There are running systems, but they say once they figure out pass blocking, they're good to go, though.
Yeah, and that's where a guy like Zeke is such an immense talent to have on your team. Even if he's not getting 1,000 yards, he's saving your quarterback's ass.
Yep, embarrassing move this year.
So I ask you guys this. So the success of C.J. Stroud, can that be contributed to Ohio State and Ryan Day? Was he able to do with them, or what were your thoughts on that?
That might go back because he was a good quarterback in college.
That's what he's saying. Is it on
Ryan? No, I'm saying, but he may have gotten he might have had a good high school coach. I don't remember C.J. Stroud being bad.
No, he was always good in college.
Yeah, so if that's the case, he's probably been well coached since he was young. If I remember correctly, wasn't he in Snoop's football league when he was younger?
Yep. He played for Snoop's team, the Steelers.
Yeah, and you don't think Snoop had the proper coaches in place?
Oh yeah,
and made sure that if he saw something, this kid went to camps and stuff. Yeah. C.J. Stroud, he's been coached up since he was young. He's a good football player, and he's probably had a lot of opportunities some people don't get, or maybe they weren't good enough in high school to get him, or middle school,
or both.
Yeah, some people are late bloomers, man. They don't growth spurts. Line catches up,
and I think you're onto something. It's also on the high school and college coaches to give them the skills to progress, not just to win games with them, but to give them the skills to move on. I mean, realistically, whenever you're a high school educator, and I would consider a coach an educator, college educator, again, a coach is an educator, you are preparing these children with whatever life skills they need to move on to the next level of whatever industry that you're mentoring them for. And if you're Bobby Petrino and you're making a system where the wide receivers are wide fucking open and the quarterback doesn't need to read anything, you're not preparing them for the next level.
Bobby said, "Get the system, bitch."
But and somebody made a good point to me one time: is in college, like in the SEC or the Big Ten, and then when you play a non-conference game, you're playing against maybe 1 or 2 NFL, talented athletes. In college, you're playing 6 or 7 at a time on the field. When in the NFL, it's 11 NFL players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts. Correct.
Yeah. And you also have to remember, most of these guys are from the SEC, from the ACC, from the Big Ten. These aren't Mountain West guys out here.
No.
This is like the cream of the crop. This is the top 1
Right.
to 2% of the college football players that make it to the NFL. So it's just night and day. It's complete. Any interview I've ever listened to of these guys talking about this difference, it's completely night and day.
And if you come into the league and you don't have the foundational skills that you need for your position, you're playing catch up, and you got to play catch up quick, especially when these guys want you to start week 1, which I think is a bigger problem, but you have to be ready for it.
Right.
And you had guys like Johnny Manziel going, I've never seen a playbook. That is not a red flag. That's a flaming red, like on fire flag. Don't draft this guy.
Yeah.
I got to put this out here because it's stuck in my mind, but like I still feel like you got off easy for blowing a 24/7 lead. I'm just saying. I feel like you got off easy. We've been kicking Dorian in the nuts all year. We've been talking about the Cowboys being phony. They didn't blow a 24/7 lead. Mostly because the Jaguars couldn't figure out 24 points. But hey.
Look, man, somebody
I'm taking double nut kicks. I'm just dishing them out tonight.
Look, when I saw the collapse of the Lions, I started feeling sorry for them, because then I start thinking, you know what? We're not going to have Eminem in the Super Bowl. We got to just deal with Taylor Swift the whole time.
Okay. I'm going to address this right now because this is just too goddamn funny to not address. Okay, the conspiracy theory out there that the NFL had a script that they wanted Taylor Swift and Eminem at the Super Bowl. They were going to be in the press box, then go down and sing the halftime show with Usher. Y'all people are insane.
That would have been pretty cool, though. But yeah,
because I think I posted it on our social media page today as like, the NFL is not scripted. There's not some grand conspiracy against your team. Your team just sucks.
Yeah. So
I love that all these people are getting upset that Taylor Swift shows up to a football game.
It's fantastic. My personal favorite, though, that I read today, this is why you don't go down the rabbit hole of Reddit, was that Taylor Swift is a Pentagon psyop to get people to vote for Biden. That she's dating Travis Kelce as part of their plan to get her integrated with NFL fans to stop them from voting Republican to vote for Biden in the election. And like, y'all need to lay off. That ain't weed doing that. I don't know what that is. We don't make you that stupid. Exactly.
I saw something too about how she increased the viewership for the playoffs when the Chiefs were playing. It came on the news that I was watching.
No,
yeah, I just don't understand why it matters.
It doesn't.
Like, she's there to see her boyfriend. She just happens to be famous, super famous.
And my thing is not to pick on the Cowboys, but when Tony Romo was dating Jessica Simpson, none of this happened.
Or Carrie Underwood. Both of them.
None of this. It didn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Romo's doing work.
All right, Romo.
Have you seen his wife?
No,
he's got a type.
Oh, no.
Was that before or after Carrie Underwood did that because he cheated song?
I don't know.
Yeah, just speculation out there. I never said anything.
No cheating now. Not Tony Romo. He's a Cowboy quarterback. They don't cheat.
Because the Cowboys don't cheat at all.
Right. Michael Irvin never cheat.
Hey,
I'm trying to figure out what cheating allegations have ever been levied against the Cowboys.
It's not cheating if you don't get caught.
Facts. Well, Deion Sanders.
How shitty of an organization are the Lions if they can't cheat and not get caught and are terrible for 30 years? 40, 50, 60 years. Terrible since Korea.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. John F. Kennedy was walking this earth the last time you were relevant.
Dorian couldn't use the same bathroom as we could. So, I mean, there's that too.
Jesus Christ.
Damn,
Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Kick the black guy in the dick. He's already outnumbered 2-1. Jesus Christ.
Damn. Pretty much AK just
You
solidified
remember?
your point today.
You remember? You remember when your people couldn't sit at the lunch counter with us? Do you remember how that happened?
That's how last time we were relevant back then.
Jesus Christ.
Damn. What was that? What? 60?
57 was the last time they were truly relevant.
Yeah. I couldn't even go to the game and watch. Right there, man.
So Dan Campbell has more playoff victories than any Lions coach in the Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
Supposed to be happy about that?
He has 2.
Supposed to be happy about that? Dak Prescott has that many playoff wins. There you go. How's that feel?
I think Dak Prescott has as many playoff wins as Jared Goff.
You know who else he's got as many playoff wins as?
Jalen Hurts.
Lamar Jackson.
I'm glad you mentioned that because people have been talking and they're like, hey, if you're going to give Dak smoke, you have to give Lamar Jackson the same smoke. If not more.
You have to.
You have to.
You have to. And that's what bugs me. Is like he was in the MVP conversation out here. I'm like, what are y'all looking at? What are y'all looking at? He's got like high school numbers. What are we looking at here? And then he gets to the playoffs and plays a real team. It's like, oh, that's what we're talking about. Number 1 or 2 defense in the league, and that's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar didn't do it this year, obviously. And my question is, if he couldn't do it this year, when is he going to?
Did you buy a $70 Stanley drink cup?
This?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I'm just making sure you weren't a basic white bitch.
No, my wife did. In her defense, she bought it before it blew up, but yes, she has one. And my daughter wants one. I'm like, no, you don't need one.
Yeah, no.
This was his year to do it because everybody's going to retool, especially the Chiefs. They're going to retool. The AFC is everyone's going to get better. So this.
You think the Chiefs are going into next season with this wide receiver core?
Well,
you are sadly mistaken.
And that was going to be my question to you guys. So if you're a free agent wide receiver, top tier free agent wide receiver, why would you not go to Kansas City?
I'm saying. And I told someone, keep an eye out on T. Higgins going to the Chiefs, man. Keep an eye out.
He's going to get past Jerry.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the only reason. Like, if you want to go to Dallas for a bigger payday, because Dallas will pay more than Kansas City, I get that. But if you're going, like, look, I want to win a ring, I'm going to Kansas City.
Right.
Because they have Patrick fucking Mahomes. And they will for a long time.
Jerry's all in, though. All in. All in at his age is basically like pushing rope, right?
Yes.
For those of you who don't know what pushing rope are, you live a sad, sheltered life. You have never worked in a restaurant.
But Kansas City is definitely going to retool. Rashae Rice is going to he's going to come into his own.
And that's saying so. Kansas City obviously isn't going anywhere.
Right.
Cincinnati, they're going to be up there.
They're going to get better.
If Pittsburgh, gets out of their own way and keeps Mike Tomlin, they're going to be in there.
Well, at this point with Cincinnati, don't we have to kind of say asterisk if Joe Burrow can stay healthy? Because that seems to be a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen is going to be a problem in the playoffs. He may not get past Patrick Mahomes, but he may get past Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You know what goes to keeping your quarterback healthy? An offensive line. Maybe we should try that. Maybe we should try that, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Give that a shot.
And
that'll also take things off of Joe Burden. That'll also unburden Joe Mixon.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about the Lions turnaround under Campbell. What did they do? They built the offensive line. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many times we have said it, how many weeks we have said it. You build inside out. You build your offensive line, your defensive line first. You get this solidified. Then you bring in your pieces. If you have a solid offensive line, you can have a okay quarterback who can then be above average because he's got time and he's upright, he's healthy, and not broken like Joe Burrow.
People that are desperate to keep their job do not always have the luxury to draft our plan. I'm not saying that's right, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to the Browns next year?
I don't know. I don't see Deshaun. Deshaun Watson looks discombobulated.
Yeah, and that contract, no one's taking that contract.
Maybe you should try playing with a butt plug in. Hey, look, I'm just trying to find solutions.
And I don't know how much they cost, so they can't be that expensive.
I will tell you what. Maybe they make one shaped like a thumb.
You could probably ask for one. They make molds.
Yeah, just get a thumb. Get a thumb. I'll tell you what. The first time on an NFL field I see an NFL player get hit hard enough to fire his butt plug out, I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break. We're going to give that a couple weeks. I'll be back.
Or start turning rainbow colored once he gets tackled. What is that rainbow coming out of his ass?
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Because the problem is the Browns need to figure out what to do with him, what to get his mind right. And if it's, peripherals, fine. But it's $47 million each year the next 3 years. He ain't going anywhere.
He needs to get back on his plan. He was dominant when he was sexually assaulting masseuses.
I'm not advocating that. So whatever
look,
you need to do to simulate that on the field.
Look, if I'm the GM, I find some hookers. And I'm like, look, I'm going to pay you to act like you're not a hooker. I know it's been a while. This will be difficult for you. You can find them all over Instagram, I'm guessing. So
maybe TikTok. Hey, Dorian, you want to be a consultant for this?
So you get these hookers, and you'd be like, look, I need you to have better than average acting skills. Act like this is going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem.
Exactly.
Just rub his thigh, run the cup, give him a two knuckler, and then he can walk out.
Do you have to wear gloves?
No, not if you don't want to. Not if you don't want to. If you can eat your lunch and deal with that smell, you go right ahead.
Oh, baby, I've done worse. I'll be okay.
Dorian said that like you spoke from experience.
No, I'm telling you, like I've never had a prostitute, but I've heard them speak, and that's how they speak. They're like they've seen it all.
You see how he went down the road and then was like, "Let me clarify."
Exactly.
Let me come back and then we'll start down the road again.
Exactly, dude. When I was in Vegas, man, like you got your escorts, you got your prostitutes. The escorts are high class. They're dignified.
High price.
Yeah, high price.
Dignified. I suck dick for money, but I got dignity.
They don't say that. What they do is they provide.
How would that work for you? If you suck dick for money, would you have dignity? No, if you suck dick for money, would they say you were dignified?
First of all, me and the whole thing, I don't even want to put myself in that situation. However,
see, that's the black man coming out of me. You can't talk to him about some gay shit. You can't talk to him about some gay shit, even in a hypothetical situation. He's like, look, motherfucker. No, but I'm just saying, dignity my ass. If you can't be dignified doing it, she can't be dignified doing it. Just because she's not doing it behind a dumpster doesn't make it fucking dignified.
No, that just means she's a congressperson.
This is what they say. They say that it's pleasure at a cost. Prostitutes will give you the real of that shit. A prostitute will be like, hey, like I took shits on the fucking Vegas Strip, so putting a knuckler in a motherfucker ain't nothing. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, sometimes you got to give a blumpkin behind the dumpster. Give him the old Cleveland steamer.
As long as it's not Vince McMahon, I think you're okay.
Adam, do you know what a Cleveland steamer is?
I don't want to know.
Ruin your Google history right now. Ruin it. Let the FBI know you're looking for the Cleveland steamer is right now. Google it. That's it. I'm going to tell you. It's when a girl squats on your chest and shits on your chest.
So the Vince McMahon.
Cleveland steamer. No, Vince went for the head.
Oh, that's fair. Good point.
Yeah. You didn't know about that, Dorian? He shit on that girl's head while she was fucking another guy or blowing him or something. This show just went off the rails. You can tune out now if you're a bitch.
The fuck?
Why do we are terrible people. We act righteous. We talk about causes and social justice, and then when sexual assault comes on, we're like,
it's just amazing how like Vince, like what the fuck? Like you don't gotta do that.
Oh,
look,
dude.
if a girl's blowing me and one of you shits on her head, I'm kicking you right in your fucking butthole. I will put my whole foot in. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
Dude, you talking about ruining your Google history? Look up his text messages in that case that have been made public.
I can imagine what he said.
It will turn you off from porn.
Look up a Blumpkin, Adam. You don't know what a Blumpkin is either, do you?
No, I don't.
Oh my God. You're going to make me do this. Viewers, this is where you plug your ears. Adam,
This is why this is not content for children.
A Blumpkin is where you get head while you're taking a shit.
Yeah.
I'm good. Thanks.
Look, I'll tell you what. If you can find a girl that can do that, she's good for anything. She will go through anything. Get her a ring. If she can power through that, if she can power through like a 6 beer and chicken wing shit and give you head, she deserves everything you have.
She has to be
No
Patron,
prenup.
right?
What's that?
She has to be drunk on Patron.
Oh, I thought it said you did. I was like, now you want to give her liquor shits? Jesus. Getting splashed in the face.
Oh shit. Yeah.
This show has gone completely off the rails.
Dorian had to call a hooker dignified, and we had to address that.
No, I'm telling. That's what they told me.
They are wrong.
I didn't
They are
believe them.
wrong.
I was just shocked. They looking at that way. I was shocked.
Look, but here's the thing. They can't be dignified if you can't be dignified. Remember, we're working on equality nowadays. So if you sit at home and you're like, man, how can I make $200,000 a year? I'll suck some dicks. If you can't do that and be dignified, how can they do it? Because they possess a vagina?
Hey, that's sexist.
Yeah.
Cancel me. Cancel me. That means I don't have to talk to you motherfuckers anymore.
Oh, shit.
Cancel me. And I didn't mean you motherfuckers, by the way.
There is a reason when I put these episodes on YouTube, I have to click the button. This is not content for children.
Oh, yeah, because God forbid you forget to click that button.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jesus, they'll probably be good for like 3 episodes, and then there'll be that one. And
You get 3 strikes and you're out. You're done.
Then I'm gonna have to deal with those retired hookers from Moms for Liberty.
Oh, they're into 3 ways. You're good.
Whoa, look, I stopped giving Blumpkins, and now I'm a saint.
Well, you can either do the Moms for Liberty down in Florida, or you go up to Georgia and do Marjorie with 3 Toes. I mean, you pick which one you want.
I stopped screwing my brother-in-law, so now we're gonna burn books.
Words make me feel things wicked. I'm gonna burn this.
When I used to read, I was all right getting Cleveland Steamers, but now I don't read no more. Praise Jesus. And remember, if God is the end-all be-all and created all the good and the evil, he created Blumpkins.
This is true. Oh my God.
Hey, if everything happens according to God's will,
Blumpkins are part of the will. I'm going to hell, but I'll drive the bus because I'm pretty sure I've been there before.
you live in Florida, it's close enough.
Yeah, I know. DeSantis is back in the state. Fuck. Probably catching a Blumpkin from Casey right now. There you go. That's a good way to get pulled over on the night in the dark road for no fucking reason.
Wait, no. Has she filled out the paperwork to be called Casey? Because I thought her name was Jill. So if she doesn't have the paperwork to be called a nickname, you have to call her by the name that's on her birth certificate.
Blumpkin number 1.
Yes, there you go.
It's such a great word. It doesn't sound like it should be associated with that at all. Like, it's so close to pumpkin, you think it's harmless. It's not harmless.
Maybe that's why they like the pumpkin spice lattes.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. You just, please do not insult the basic white bitch. They get offended so fast. They're the reason we can't say Redskins anymore. Cleveland Guardians. Thank you, Starbucks.
So, anyways, after that detour, BJ, you had said something earlier about how the Chiefs transitioned from the high flying
Oh,
circus.
watch out. You're using words that could take us somewhere.
They went from that 2 years ago to essentially bully ball.
They had no choice. Did
Yeah.
you watch the first 6 games of the season?
Yeah, the receivers were stone hands.
Yeah. So they were like, look, Pacheco, break your neck.
Speaking of Chiefs and receivers, what's up with Kadarius Toney?
The only way he's going to the Super Bowl is if he buys a ticket and airfare.
There's something wrong with small, fast receivers from the University of Florida.
I don't think you needed that qualifier. There's something wrong with receivers from the University of Florida
Rashae Caldwell was fine.
that we know of. That was also back in the 90s.
We didn't set a qualifier on time.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Retract. No, Percy Harvin. A little different. Who's the one after Percy? The next little jitterbug. There's somebody between him and Kadarius Toney who did not work out in the NFL.
Oh, was it the running back / receiver? The speedster.
That's what I'm going for.
I can't think of his name.
No, I can't either because he didn't make it in the NFL. Caldwell.
No, not
No,
Caldwell.
there's another one.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Not James.
Riley Cooper?
No.
Oh my God.
No, that's Dorian's favorite receiver.
I'm gonna beat all those. I'm like, wow, dude.
Oh, okay then. I know where you stand.
Are you really? Where's Fletcher Cox? Let's see how this goes.
Dang, who?
You know who I'd like to see him fight? If we'll just keep it on the Eagles, Jeremiah Trotter.
Oh, he would kill that kid.
Good luck with that. You're gonna kill who? You're gonna do what?
Trotter would kill that. Yeah, Trotter would.
You're gonna do what? And you got to hit him with the southern what? You're gonna do what?
Yeah. Are you thinking of Trey Burton? Is that who you're thinking of?
No, I might be wrong. It might have been. It's somebody just before Kadarius Toney. He made it to the league and gone, just vanished.
Yeah, and he went to Lakeland. He went to Lakeland High School. He was on the team. The last year the Gators won a national championship, he was the backup running back.
No, he's thinking of a wide receiver, and I'm going through their rosters now, and nothing really stands out. Trey Burton was the only one that really stood out. Yeah, and
right now.
Well, you're probably right because they didn't do anything in the NFL.
Maybe I have them just all mushed into one little guy.
Maybe. Callaway? Is that who you're thinking of? Antonio Callaway?
Yes, Antonio Callaway.
Okay.
That's who I'm thinking of. Yes. I believe I don't want to put this on his name. Hold on.
Okay, so his career NFL stats: 98 targets, 53 catches, 695 yards over 3 seasons, 5 touchdowns.
I believe he's had legal issues.
Was issued a citation for possession of marijuana, driving with a suspended license. Yeah. That's it. And on June 4th, 2023, he was caught driving on a suspended license. His arrest led to the subsequent release from the Dallas Cowboys the following day.
That's him. Another guy that when he got the ball was a threat to go to the house every time he touched it and just couldn't get right. So there's like at least 3 wide receivers from the University of Florida. The small, quick, shifty ones, there's something wrong with all 3 of them.
Are we just going to ignore their tight ends?
I mean, we talked about Blumpkins. We talk about murder.
Yeah. I mean, you got Kyle Pitts, who was completely flamed out.
Whoa. That is one of the dumbest things you've said in 3 years of doing this podcast. How can you tell somebody who doesn't get the ball thrown to him what his quality of work is? Apologize.
When he gets
Apologize.
when he gets a quarterback, I will take that back.
That offense was negligent. I cannot believe you said that. That is up there, and for our long-time listeners, they'll remember when Adam said that Alabama doesn't produce wide receivers. That's up there.
Yeah,
that's up there.
Oh, what about Jeff Demps?
He was a running back from Mineola.
That's right. He was the fastest one on the team, right? I think he was the fastest one in the state.
He was a silver medal Olympic sprinter.
Yep, that's him.
Super duper fast.
Yeah.
Problem is,
he didn't make an NFL roster.
He is small. I guarantee you, if you look up his weight, it's going to say 190 pounds. The truth is closer to 170 pounds.
Oh, you know what? He played for the Patriots, the Bucks, and the Colts. What it shows you.
Now,
Briefly,
what are his stats? Yeah.
Damn. 1 rushing attempt, 14 yards, 3 receptions for 21 yards.
If I'm not mistaken, he went to the CFL.
After you know what? He didn't get drafted in the NFL.
He was
on a practice squad. Then they brought him up for a couple of games.
So I did think it was funny. I saw a stat today that not a single player that left the University of Alabama, played the last game at the University of Alabama, has scored a point in the Super Bowl. Not Devontae Smith, not Julio Jones, nobody that graduated from Alabama has scored a point. The Coast Guard has scored more points in the Super Bowl than players from Alabama.
There are universities that don't exist that have more Super Bowl points than Alabama. I'm telling you. If it's not defensive linemen or defensive backs, I don't want it. Maybe offensive linemen too.
You don't want the wide receivers?
Well, yeah, I'm fine with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with them.
So it's a weird anomaly, and no one on the Chiefs or 49ers has anybody from Alabama. So
I don't think it's fair to lump wide receivers and running backs into that conversation because they're reliant on a quarterback.
Well, and the stat is scored. So if a quarterback throws a pass, that doesn't count. But then again, I can't think of a quarterback other than Joe Namath, and what was the other one? Stabler.
Ken Stabler.
That played quarterback, that played in the Super Bowl.
Ken Stabler.
Yep. And watching the exodus of Bama players when Saban retired, you knew it was coming.
That was crazy. It happened quickly.
Yep.
When's it going to happen to Michigan? Any day now?
It's been a week and like 2 people have left. You know, the thing with Michigan is they've kept most of their same coaching staff.
Lost their defensive coordinator.
Yep. Lost their head coach, lost their defensive coordinator, lost their strength and conditioning coach, but that's about it.
I would say that their defensive coordinator was probably as valuable, if not as more.
Yeah. So
because of the way he confused the who was it? Come on. They just played.
Washington,
yeah,
Alabama.
Those guys. They actually put a real defense in front of Washington, who's been playing JV defenses all year.
Yeah, and among Michigan fans, the loss of Minter was actually bigger than the loss of Harbaugh.
Damn.
Yeah. So, I mean, my question to coaches that if you're coming up to the league, if you're a defensive coordinator or defensive coach, take the position at Baltimore or Los Angeles and get infused with the Harbaugh system. Because look what it's done for Minter. Look what it's done for Mike McDonald, who has had 2 interviews today, one with Seattle, one with Washington.
I was kind of backdoor hoping that the Cowboys would get rid of Dan Quinn.
He interviewed with Washington as well.
I don't think it's happening. I think that playoff game made it look rough.
But Jerry's all in, so I mean he's gonna keep Dan Quinn.
I don't know if that's what all in means. I think all in is a roster quote.
To me, all in means everything's on the table. We need to
Everything's
evaluate
on
everything.
the table, including
the
firing
roster,
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really thought, I didn't think McCarthy was gonna get through, but here's the thing: he did make a marked improvement in Dak's game from last year to this year, so that at least needs to be rewarded. At the very least. However, they have to do something about that offense. It's out of date.
Well, and this goes back to kind of where we started is if you're a quality quarterback, can you go to the next level without a quality coach?
I don't think so.
Because I mean, it needs to be a marriage.
Well,
Yeah.
Would you say Bruce Arians was a quality head coach, or did Tom Brady win that Super Bowl?
Bruce Arians made a Super Bowl without Brady, with Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner has multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah, he had one in 2000, and then a second one in like 10 years later. So I want to say he has more Super Bowl appearances than Mike McCarthy.
Didn't the Rams go to 2 Super Bowls? Won one, lost one?
They went to one in 99 and lost one in 2000. Because they beat the Titans and then they lost to the Patriots.
So he has 3 Super Bowl appearances.
Yes. And then he basically fell off the map and then was resurrected in Arizona.
Well, he went to the New York Giants pre-Eli. And that was a rough situation.
And then his record in Arizona before that Super Bowl was, 8-20 before that season was his record in Arizona. So I'm not saying he wasn't good. I'm saying that he was towards the back end of his career.
It was him and Anquan Bolden and
Larry
Fitzgerald were
Fitzgerald.
fun to watch. They were fun to watch. That was some good football.
And that was a good game too.
Yeah, it really was. Steelers and Cardinals.
Yep.
That was a good game.
So,
Quite
but
entertaining.
In answer to your question, I do consider Arians a quality coach. He's not Hall of Fame worthy, but he's a quality coach. I would take him over half the coaches in the NFL today.
He's not doing it anymore, is he? He's
No,
just
he
done.
retired.
Yeah. He's having health problems there towards the end, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but I mean, would you take Bruce Arians, all things being equal, over Robert Saleh from the Jets? Over Nick Sirianni with the Eagles?
I don't know. That's a good question. Probably over Sirianni. I think Saleh's a good coach. He was dealt a raw hand this year. That's tough. You think you got the franchise coming in, then bang, instantly gone. And you're stuck with the guy you're trying to replace. That was shitty.
Yeah.
And then last year, they had the running back of the year appear, and then he blew his knee out. So he's had a couple shitty hands dealt to him. it's tough to evaluate a guy who loses key players back-to-back years. Brees Hall was their offense the year before Aaron Rodgers showed up.
Would you take Bruce Arians over Sean McDermott in Buffalo?
Jeez, I don't know. Maybe, but is McDermott the problem or is Josh Allen the problem?
Can either be fixed?
I don't think we're ever going to find out the answer to that.
I mean, Josh Allen is who he is.
That's a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, he's
If
been
Dak,
league-
if Dak had done that, my fucking phone would have caught fire 2 weeks ago.
Oh, shit. Like Stephen A. Smith would have been dancing on Irish jig.
Jeez. Like it's that's what bugs me, and I posted on our Facebook account about that. But like, all of a sudden this year, interceptions weren't a problem for anybody. We're just not going to talk about them. We're just not going to talk about them. Nothing to see here. Yeah, I don't know if McDermott can be fixed, and I don't know. I don't think Josh Allen can be fixed. To be honest with you, it's been pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you are who you are. You're going to take the risk that you've always taken.
What is there to? I mean, what could they do differently? You're going to try to bottle Josh Allen up, because I don't think that's going to work.
Nope. And that's the thing with teams like Buffalo. I think Buffalo is capped out. I mean, they might make an AFC Championship game 1 year, but I think that's their ceiling. Same with Baltimore. Bring it for a circle. I think Baltimore's at their ceiling. And I don't know where to go from there, because as a fan of a team who has been irrelevant for a long ass time, I'd be okay if my ceiling was the conference championship. But I don't know. BJ, would you be comfortable if the cap for the Cowboys was conference championship? Playoffs every year, win a game or two every year, but you lose in the conference championship.
That's not what I'm taught to expect.
But would you be okay with that over what you have now?
I mean, honestly, it's just 2 more games and then depression. So I don't know. I mean, yes, he would for sure. Could you imagine being a Jaguars fan?
I don't want to.
Come on,
I can imagine.
I mean, it's part of the territory, man. I mean, if you know, some people are loyal to their own detriment.
Some people are gluttons for punishment.
I'm a Lions fan.
Just like getting spanked every day for 18 weeks.
So, but I mean, like, you know, especially in the AFC, because Mahomes isn't going anywhere. The Chiefs probably will not disappear until Kelsey retires, and then they are a team that drafts well. They'll bring someone in that can change the offense. As we've seen, Reed can change his offense from just air it out to ground and pound. And I posted this on Facebook as well. I think he breaks the coaching record before Belichick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. I would like to see the likes of a Brock Bowers with Kansas City.
Why? Then no team has a chance.
I'm saying, man. You know, because I think eventually, I say about 2 years, Kelsey will probably hang it up. He probably don't have to, but I think he wants. I think he wants to do something.
Realistically, and I'm not saying he's going to do this. I have no inside information. If they win the Super Bowl this year, I think he retires. He goes out on top. He doesn't do what the tinfoil hat people do and say, okay, the NFL wants the Chiefs to win. Taylor Swift's going to come down. Kelsey's going to propose on the field, and they're going to have a vote Biden and Harris. Like, no, like he's going to retire because his body's given out.
Yeah, and he has other business ventures that he want to do. He said in one article that he wants to get into acting.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, look at the game on Sunday. Like, he gave you a solid 2 quarters. That's about what he can do. He's not going to give you the full game anymore. But those 2 quarters were spectacular. That catch he made in the end zone, falling down, spinning around, there are a handful of people that can do that. He doesn't have the body to do that for 4 quarters anymore.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not counting Kelsey out.
Like I said, I don't think I had no inside information. I would not be surprised if he retired. He would not be surprised if he played for 3 more years.
His girlfriend is a billionaire. I'm out.
Yes.
I am out. I'm sick of breaking my body. I'm going to live on a tour bus. And I'm going to attempt to make her pregnant.
Hey,
Repeatedly.
I'm going to try constantly.
Constantly. Until my knees hurt.
I do like how my daughter was talking to me today. She was like, well, Taylor's got a concert in Tokyo the night before the game, and her flight's going to be this long. I'm like, sweetheart, she's going to make the game.
Yeah. Like, they're going to be sure of it.
Yeah, like, she's got people. She can pay people to figure out all the logistics. She just goes out there, performs her ass off, goes back, and just go. She'll be there for kickoff. It's all good. And to BJ's point, I'm like, if I'm Travis Kelce, especially if I win the Super Bowl this year, I'm like, dude, my body is hurting. My brother's about to retire. My girlfriend is a multi-billionaire. Peace.
Yep. I don't blame him.
Nope.
Whatever decision he makes, I'm cool with, but he can still play football.
Yeah.
I hate to act like he's washed. It helps to have some help in the wide receiver room.
And again, I go back to what I asked earlier. If you're a late career wide receiver, why would you not go to Kansas City? Be a number 2 behind Rice, be a number 2 or 3 option behind Rice and Kelce, and play for a ring. Because as long as 15's back there, they're going to be in the spot every
Question
year.
is Kansas City can they afford it?
Well,
They have cap issues. So.
that's the only trick is if you're a wide receiver and you want to go to Kansas City, you're gonna have to take a pay cut. You talked about Dallas getting them, someone earlier. Dallas can afford to pay them. Kansas City can't. That would be the only reason. But if you're a late career receiver, you've already made your money and you need a ring, Kansas City's the place to go.
Do they do that anymore though? Do they sacrifice the money for the legacy? I don't know if they do that anywhere anymore.
I don't know.
Seems like a big ask these days.
Even if you've already made your money. And that's the American way. I've made my money. I want more. So I think we'll wrap it up there. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been Sandlot Sports.
Peace.